Steel City welcomes an exciting story for UFC Live.
Why don't you get better at fighting?
K1 showcases a super fight and one-night tournament in Tokyo. Bellator kicks off their summer series in Florida. And the Sweet Science holds title bouts from around the world.
Cut to the chest and a left hand puts down Toledo.
This is Fight Network's preview show.
I'm just going to keep my chin tucked, my head down, and just let my hands fly.
Hi everyone, I'm Sarah Davis and you're watching the Fight Network's preview show. In just a few minutes, our MMA analyst John Ramdeen will be joining me to break down the major fights this weekend. We're starting off with UFC Live Marquardt versus Story, which is taking place at the Consol Energy Center in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The 12-bout lineup features many fighters who have a lot on the line and two welterweights who are looking to prove that they have what it takes to be with the top contenders.
In the featured bout, former king of Pancrase Nate Marquardt will throw down with rising welterweight Rick Story, who's coming off an upset win over Thiago Alves at UFC 130. After trading wins and losses in his last 4 fights, Marquardt, who sits at 31-10-2, looks to get back on the winning track in his welterweight debut. Story's record of 13-3 has been held strong by his current 6-fight winning streak and the fact that he hasn't lost since his promotional debut in June 2009.
In an intriguing welterweight encounter, former middleweight title challenger Nate the Great Marquardt makes his UFC 170-pound debut when he takes on fast-rising star and Washington native Rick the Horror Story. In his 15th fight for the Ultimate Fighting Championship, the former king of Pancrase will be in tough against the very durable southpaw, who constantly moves forward and who is able to absorb massive amounts of punishment.
Oh, a huge knee and another knee and another knee!
Honing his abilities at the Grudge Training Center in Colorado, alongside powerful grapplers such as Shane Carwin, Rashad Evans, and Muhammad King Mo Lawal, his powerful teammates could be the key to victory when facing the solid wrestler Story. The devout Christian has struggled in the past against some of the 185-pound division's top wrestlers, and a move to 170 may give him a power and conditioning advantage. Story is coming off the biggest win of his mixed martial arts career, dispatching top-ranked Thiago Alves at UFC 130 last month. The Brave Legion pupil takes this fight on short notice, replacing the injured Anthony Rumble Johnson. And a win over Marquardt is a tall order, with a full training camp in front of him. If Story can put the pressure on the soft-spoken Marquardt and take him out of his element by controlling the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt on the ground, it could be another shocking victory for the powerful 26-year-old.
Welcome our MMA analyst, John Ramdeen, to the show. Okay, let's get down to it. Nate Marquardt has insisted that this drop in weight class is the right move for him. What do you think this change means for him, and is he now fighting in the right weight class?
Well, number one, it really remains to be seen. We have to see what type of performance Marquardt puts forth in his welterweight debut, but I think it is the right move for him. Mixed martial arts is changing at such a rapid rate, and you have to give yourself all the advantages possible, and I think Marquardt moving down to 170 pounds will give him that advantage. All the monsters in the middleweight division are absolutely gigantic. Anderson Silva cuts down from 230 pounds sometimes to make the middleweight limit, so I think 170 pounds is perfect for Marquardt.
Now for Rick Story, he's on quite the winning streak, and most recently a win over Thiago Alves just 4 weeks ago. What level could he be catapulted to if he pulls off this win?
Again, it really comes down to their performance on Sunday night. I mean, Marquardt, again, it's his first time at 170 pounds, so will the weight cut make that much of a difference? Some fighters just cannot handle losing that much weight because Marquardt's a very muscled guy, so he'd have to lose 15 pounds of muscle, and that could affect his performance. I think this fight, though, I think Story's a big, strong, powerful wrestler. He'll try to get this fight down to the ground, and I think the weight cut for Marquardt will help him be mobile, help him try to get back to his feet, and I think he'll have a lot of energy in this fight.
Well, Marquardt is probably the most well-rounded opponent of Story's career. How did their styles match up? I
think for Ricky Story, I think he wants to get this fight down to the ground and really wear down Nate Marquardt. He wants to grind him out because you mentioned before, Marquardt, a very well-rounded fighter, strong standing, strong jiu-jitsu, and of course he worked with George St. Pierre, so of course you know his sprawl is going to be there, as well as the Grudge Training Center with Shane Carwin and Rashad Evans and all the monsters out there. So I think Marquardt will be prepared, but again, until we see exactly what type of performance he puts forth on Sunday, you never know.
Well, what's your prediction, John?
Again, it really comes down to what type of performance or what type of game plan. I think Story will be able to get the takedown and hold Marquardt down for the course of 3 rounds, but Marquardt is very slick, and I think if he can use his athleticism, and I think he can do that, I think he'll be able to wear out Ricky Story and get a unanimous decision win. Again, it really is a toss-up, but I'm going to go with Nate the Great.
A teammate of Rampage Jackson and Michael Bisping, Czech Congo is coming off a draw with the undefeated Travis Brown, and previous to that, a win over Paul Buentello. The 6-2 Pat Barry most recently achieved a unanimous decision over Joey Beltran at UFC Fight for the Troops 2 after being submitted by Mirko Cro Cop last year. In a welterweight tilt, John Doomsday Howard will fight Ultimate Fighter Season 7 alumni Matt Brown. Howard, who has a 14-6 record, is coming off back-to-back losses to Jake Ellenberger and most recently Thiago Alves. Brown is currently on a 3-fight losing slump and has a record of 11-10. Former NFL player Matt Mitrione will throw down with Christian Morecraft in a heavyweight matchup. A Season 10 Ultimate Fighter participant, Mitrione has gone undefeated in his UFC career with 4 victories and 3 TKOs over fighters like Kimbo Slice and Tim Hague. Morecraft, who holds a 7-1 record, has never gone the distance and is coming off a submission win over Sean McCorkle. Tyson Griffin has made the cut to featherweight after 3 straight losses to put him at a 14-5 record. His most recent loss was a controversial split decision against Nick Lentz at UFC 123. Former WEC title contender Manny Gamburian holds an 11-5 record. His 3-fight winning streak was snapped by UFC featherweight champion Jose Aldo in his last outing.
2 longtime lightweights making their featherweight debuts, Tyson Griffin and Joe Stevenson. They're both on 3-fight losing streaks. How is this the right or wrong career move for each one of them?
It is 100% the right move. We've seen it. The landscape is changing, and you have to adapt. Kenny Florian has dropped. Nate Marquardt has dropped. Stevenson and Tyson Griffin dropping down to 145 pounds. I think they'll be very competitive in this weight class.
Czech Congo, Pat Barry, both 2 strikers, while Congo revert to his wrestling skills over Barry, who's a K1 level striker. It
all depends. I think Congo is very confident in his stand-up skills, and Pat Barry really doesn't change his style. He's a guy that moves forward, likes to use those low kicks, but I think Congo is an intelligent fighter. I think he'll use his range, and I think he will eventually use his wrestling, which we've seen him develop over the last number of years. I think this is Congo's fight to lose. If the striking doesn't go his way, expect him to take this fight down to the ground, but in the end, he will get the victory.
And Mitrione, he's undefeated right now. He's up against probably the most difficult opponent of his career. Do you think the UFC is pushing him too quickly?
No, he feels that, he's not a spring chicken anymore, so he's got to take whatever opportunity. Not a lot of people know who Christian Morecraft is. This kid is a very tough guy, and I think Mitrione, he's a really talented fighter who continues to develop at such a rapid rate. I think it's going to be a competitive matchup, and I think it's going to be one of the fights of the night, but I think Mitrione is too talented and too intelligent. I think he will win this fight.
What fight are you looking most forward to?
Again, you have to go back to the main event. I think Ricky Story is on a tear right now, marked to 170. He really says he has his eye on the prize. He doesn't want to fight George St. Pierre, but if the contract is there, he's ready to sign it, and the only way to do that is to get a victory over Story.
Anything can happen, right?
That's right. It's mixed martial arts.
After the break, we'll profile the latest K1 super fight, as well as a tournament featuring 8 fighters, including current and former champions.
Which is rear its... This is over.
After a 6-month hiatus, K1 is back. The Fight for Japan K1 World Max 2011 under 63 kilogram tournament final is taking place this Saturday at Yoyogi Stadium in Tokyo, Japan, along with a max 70 kilogram super fight.
K1 presents an 8-man one-night tournament from the Yoyogi National Gymnasium in Tokyo, Japan, as the promotion attempts to create a homegrown star in the under 63 kilogram division. The night will feature a number of well-conditioned fighters hungry to clutch the championship and launch themselves into the limelight. The quarterfinals will kick off with a bout between Ryuji Kajiwara and Masaki Nori. A newcomer to the K1 organization, Kajiwara has posted a 1-2 record and is coming off a win over Kaiichi Semikawa. Team Dragon member will have his hands full with the former 2009 K1 Koshien champion Masaki Nori. DC Lab gym pupil Yuta Kubo looks to replicate last year's success and once again make it to the finals, but his first test will be a stiff one as he prepares to take on K1 youth standout Kizamen Sega. The 20-year-old Sega is a durable and creative striker.
The openings are there for Kizamen Sega. Oh, rolling heel kick tags him! It tags him! He's on rubber legs! That was superb!
Who had his 3-fight win streak snapped by Tetsuya Yamamoto in the 2010 K1 World Max under 70 kilogram final. Kubo does hold a background in Taekwondo and is known for punishing his opponents by attacking the body.
He's forcing Ozaki to the outside, and you see how he is making Ozaki move to Ozaki's right.
Kubo is a multiple-time featherweight champion, and as such, he will rely on his experience to carefully select his shots against his younger adversary in efforts of setting up the knockout blow.
Spoiling fighter with power, which is rare in itself. Oh! This is over. Don't even count it.
Another Team Dragon member will participate in the tournament as Koya Urabe tangles with Real Deal product simply known as Yuki. The 21-year-old kickboxer came up the K1 youth ranks and graduated to the K1 banner in 2010. With 3 consecutive wins under his belt, Urabe is known for measuring his opponents with leg kicks and then attacking with a barrage of combos. Fearless in the eyes of a dogfight, Urabe will have his hands full with the first Rise 60-kilogram champion, who is also known for pouring on the pressure with unrelenting leg kicks.
Steps across and chomps down the lead leg. Yuki rocks the head back with a stiff left hand.
In the most intriguing matchup of the night, last year's under 63-kilogram tournament champion Tetsuya Yamamoto will look to defend his claim as champion when he prepares to trade leather with another former titleist and try-hard gym item Hiroya. Having already defeated a number of the participants in this year's tournament, Yamamoto enters as a heavy favorite.
But you know what? If you remember Yuki's fight. Oh, the big come on! It's over! It's over!
The 23-year-old is recognized for his heavy hands and deadly knockout power.
He gets tagged again with that right hand. Oh, the left hook! He's going to go down again! He's going to go down again! Yes! 2 knockouts! 2 knockouts! 2 knockouts!
The Nagoya native has continued to sharpen his striking, and aside from his natural knockout power, he's continued to work on his hand speed. Yamamoto has proven in the past that he can take a punch, and this will come in handy when he takes on a well-conditioned Hiroya, who has been involved in firefights that have gone the distance. Though Hiroya has yet to be knocked out in his career, the force behind one of Yamamoto's perfectly placed punches could be lights out for the 19-year-old up-and-comer. It's a challenge that will test each fighter physically and mentally, though 8 of Japan's best enter, and on one night, only one man will emerge to be recognized as the true champion.
In the super fight, highly touted former K1 Max 70-kilogram world champion Albert Kraus will battle it out with the 2010 70-kilogram World Grand Prix runner-up Yoshihiro Sato. The strikers have met in 2 previous tilts, with Kraus winning both by decision. Kraus enters the fight with a 65-16-3 record, while Sato holds a 47-16 record.
In addition to the under 63-kilogram tournament, a super fight will take place when highly touted Dutch kickboxer Albert Kraus goes toe-to-toe for the 3rd time with Japanese striker Yoshihiro Sato. Kraus is a veteran of the sport who has faced elite competition and has earned wins over the likes of Andy Sauer, Mike Zambitas, and Bulka Porpremic.
Kraus likes this in close. He likes playing the punching up through the middle with body shots and uppercuts.
The Dutchman is known for putting forth exciting performances and consistently demonstrates tremendous heart.
And Kraus willing to engage in making this an entertaining affair.
Having previously defeated Sato twice before by way of decision, Kraus will look to oust his opponent in impressive fashion.
I don't think it's... Oh! Big shot there from Kraus.
Elevating his stock with an impressive run in last year's K1 World Max tournament, Sato has shown improvements when competing on the big stage. After dropping losses to Armin Petrosian and Andy Sauer, Sato needs to rebound with a win, and avenging his previous scratches to Kraus could be the fuel that he needs to light a fire in the ring.
Look at the excellence of execution here of Sato.
Living up to his nickname, the Infinite Sniper, Sato often targets opponents with rapid leg kicks and quick push kicks to the body as a wear-down tactic.
Sato swarming Diendra along the ropes now, mixing it up with punches and kicks.
He knows how to drill the point of the knee and get very good trajectory on his knee strikes.
These tools could be the key to frustrating the emotional fighter in Kraus. It's a showcase fight that will entertain the fans, but more than this, it's an opportunity for Kraus to regain momentum, while Sato aims to prove that the third time's a charm.
This is the third time that Albert Kraus and Yoshihiro Sato will face off. Kraus will be looking to finish this fight after winning 2 decisions over Sato. Sato, though, he's on quite a roll after going to the K1 World Max Finals just last year. How will this one unfold?
Well, Albert Kraus is he's a strange fighter because he's abandoned his kicks over the last number of years. He employs a boxing style. He's very aggressive and he constantly headhunts, and I expect him to do the same thing with this fight with Sato. He'll constantly be moving forward and trying to knock out Sato. If Sato uses his range and is long, uses his jab to keep Kraus on the outside, punish him with a plethora of kicks, I think he can be successful, but Sato's a very slow starter. So I think Albert Kraus, again, that's his fight to lose. I think he is aggressive, and I think he'll end up getting another decision over Sato.
Going back to the tournament, it features a number of Japanese prospects. Does anyone stand out for you?
Yeah, I like the first round matchup between Hiroya and Tetsuya Yamamoto. I think it's a very competitive matchup, and I think the winner of this first round matchup will eventually end up winning the tournament. I have to give the edge to Hiroya. K1 has spent a lot of time and effort building this fighter up to be their next superstar. And I think because he has 2 back-to-back losses in his last 2 fights, his back is against the wall, and I think we're going to see the best out of Hiroya. On the other side of the bracket, a man who holds a victory over Hiroya, Masaki Nori, could be the dark horse to win the whole thing, but I highly doubt it. Like I mentioned before, I think it is the winner of the matchup between Yamamoto and Hiroya who wins the entire thing.
After the break, we're looking at the first Summer Series event from Bellator. And we're profiling boxing matches set to go down from around the world.
The quarterfinals of the Bellator Fighting Championship Summer Series Featherweight Tournament are set for this weekend at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida. This is the first event of 3 before the 5th underway in September.
The Bellator Fighting Championships kicks off its Summer Series Saturday night with quarterfinal action in the Featherweight Tournament.
Uppercut by Sandro. Marlon Sandro wasting no time.
Former Sengoku Featherweight champion Marlon Sandro makes his North American debut in the Bellator cage as he's paired with fellow countryman Giner da Silva. Going undefeated in his first 14 bouts, Sandro would lose a controversial split decision to Michihiro Omigawa in the Sengoku Featherweight Grand Prix. He would follow that up with 3 first-round knockouts, including a 38-second stoppage over Masanori Kanehara to claim the Sengoku Featherweight title.
Jab 2 again from Sandro. We've got a new champion of the world!
With lack of competition abroad and Sengoku's financial stability in question, the Brazilian signed with Bellator this past February and is considered the early favorite in the featherweight tournament. Sandro is dangerous in all areas, but look for him to keep this fight standing and target a knockout. Season 2 lightweight tournament winner Pat Curran returns to the featherweight division as he's paired with XFC featherweight champion Luis Palomino. Curran is coming off a hard-fought 5-round war with current lightweight champion Eddie Alvarez. Despite losing the title fight by unanimous decision, Curran showcased his durability, going the distance with one of the top lightweight fighters in the world.
I wish I had the heart he had at his age. Pat's going to be a champion, no doubt, and my hat's off to him tonight.
His opponent, 30-year-old Luis Palomino, is currently riding a 3-fight win streak and will likely use his boxing to keep the Illinois native on his toes. Ronnie Mann returns to the Bellator cage for the second time as he's matched up with 9-1 Adam Schindler. The English fighter Mann has only been stopped once in 22 contests, falling victim to a triangle choke against former Shudo featherweight champion Hatsuki Oki at Sengoku 8. These two fighters are both crafty on the mat, and the product will likely use his boxing and Muay Thai in search of win number 20. Argentinian fighter Nezarino Malagari gets his second crack at Bellator featherweight tournament supremacy as he goes to war with 10-1 power MMA student Jacob DeVries. The 25-year-old came up short last season in his quarterfinal bout with tournament finalist Daniel Strauss, and the highly touted BJJ black belt will look to rebound, likely relying on his grappling pedigree to notch a submission. All the action kicks off this Saturday night at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida, airing live on MTV2.
Canadian boxing sensation Logan McGuinness is set to defend his NABA lightweight title this Friday night at the Hershey Center in Mississauga, Ontario.
NABA lightweight champion Logan Cotton McGuinness will defend his gold for the first time this Friday in Mississauga, Ontario at the Hershey Center against 22-3-1 Daniel Ruiz, who has been a tough opponent to scout.
We haven't actually seen much footage of him. He's fought 5 times in the last 9 months, so he's been busy, right? And 4 of those wins are against lesser opposition, but they all came, by the way, a knockout. So, I mean, you got to still go in there respecting the power and maybe just the first round feel him out a bit and see what he has.
We just do what we have to do. We know we have to stay behind the jab. We have to attack the body. We're not going to change anything. We're not going to, change the world in one day. But he's going to see us jab and box and hit the body. That's what we're going to do.
McGuinness received high praise for his performance this past February, stopping Hector Julio Avila in the 4th round, and will look to complement his style of bowling.
I want to showcase my skills and my talents in my boxing, but I also I don't want to be a boring fighter. I want the fans to want to come and see me and pay to come and see me, right? And get their money's worth every time they come and watch me. But I think I can use my boxing and not get hit, and so I can have a long career and still excite the fans.
Logan listens very well. So if I say, Logan, use the jab more and move around, Logan right away, he's going to heat to it. So I have no problems on that ground with Logan at all. When he goes a little too far, I just pull him back in, and, so it's good.
The fights hit the ring at 7:30 p.m. this Friday night at the Hershey Center.
Sticking with the sweet science, the WBC lightweight title and WBA middleweight title will be defended in Cozumel, Mexico and Cologne, Germany, respectively.
Mexico's Humberto Soto will look to keep his WBC lightweight title when he takes on Japan's Motoki Sasaki, who will be making his North American debut. Having won 11 straight bouts, Soto holds an impressive record of 55-7-2, while Sasaki owns a record of 36-8-1. WBA middleweight champion Felix Sturm will trade fists with Ireland's Matthew Macklin. Sturm has only lost 2 bouts in 38 matches, while Macklin also has 2 blemishes on his record, but has 28 wins and is currently riding an 11-fight winning streak.
Remember, you can always hit us up on Twitter. Our handle is @FightNet. And don't forget to visit our website, fightnetwork.com, where you can keep up to date on all the latest combat news and view our schedule. On behalf of the Fight Network, I want to thank the Ballroom for letting us use their space, and thank you for watching. We'll catch you next time.
And I know how to get my body going, but I know how to stay mentally where I need to be. And I'm a little more intelligent and in touch with more people than I think I am.
Shocking.
Yeah, no, go figure. I play such a dumbass. I'm a meathead.
This segment on the Fight Network is brought to you by The Ballroom, downtown Toronto's newest interactive entertainment center.